Yep. Okay. Go!
Will you hand me my screen box?
Now go.
Haley Madrid versus Josephine Jackson. Okay. All right, Miss Madrid, go right ahead.
Yeah, so Josephine and I, the respondent, we were together until December 25th of 2022. I then went back and officially left her as of January 13th, 2023. Since then, there's been multiple instances of where there's been online fraud, identity theft, her showing up at my place of residence. Like one of the times my stepdad actually went out and tried to talk to her and she sped off. That same night is when she called the cops on me and told them I had a gun that was unregistered to me, which wasn't the case. And I kind of had to hide out. And then she was sending me pictures that she was at places I frequent, one of those being a barn out in Olympia. As far as the online fraud and stuff, I got notifications of her logging into my Snapchat, my Target, my Ticketmaster, trying to take concert tickets, trying to get information. That's like a common theme I'm noticing here. I actually moved out of the state to get away from the respondent. And obviously it didn't help because she keeps showing up. Even on the 4th of July this last year, my current girlfriend and I, we were at the rodeo and she showed up and she was there. More recently, she had sent me a text stating that my dental certifications were expired and I should probably let my employer know before they find out the hard way or something along those lines. And I just don't know why she's digging for this information, but she just keeps using stuff against me. And at this point, it's been 2 years. I want to be done. I don't want any contact whatsoever.
All right. Is there anything else you want me to know?
There was a previous court case for an asset we shared, which was a trailer. That's already been settled in court. I pay her $250 a month towards that negative equity. And that actually was due to her yesterday, but I didn't want to pay it because I didn't want to jeopardize anything that's going on with the temporary no contact order that's in place.
Okay, but that's a separate case involving property that you shared at some earlier point.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, understood. I probably won't consider that as any part of this case then. Okay. All right. Anything else before I hear Ms. Jackson's side of this?
Yes, actually. There's been multiple incident reports that I filed with police. 3 that I found. One was more recently, December 4th, in relation to her knowing about my dental certifications. One on May 17th, which was the day she came up here. And then one on June 14th. That one of 2024. That one, it wasn't in my name, but I was involved with that, where she showed up at another person's house that I was at. And then there was one other instance as well, where she attempted to get me fired from my job. I got a random phone call from my HR and they said, hey, there was an anonymous report stating that you and your boss are sleeping together and exchanging nude photos and all this crazy stuff. So I had to get that situated. So this would now that she's talking about my dental certifications, this would be like a second attempt to do something with my job. And I mean, like I said, this has been going on for 2 years, and honestly, I'm exhausted.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Madrid. All right. Ms. Jackson, can I hear from you?
Yes. Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you for taking the time today to listen to the evidence in this case. The exhibits I'll be referencing today can be found under the most recent uploaded exhibit list. To make the best use of your time, I'll go over a few claims the petitioner made, and then I'll jump into my exhibits. So I want to start off by saying I do not know where the petitioner works. I do know she works in the dental field, one for her telling me this on multiple occasions, but I do want to make it very apparent I've never spoken with her job, as I do not know where she works. Other than that, I mean, there's no way for me to show you some proof or something that I've never done, because I just don't know where she works. With that being said, if I did know where she worked, I would have already been garnishing her for the $8,000 or so that she owes me that's court ordered. So just a brief background on that. I would like to note my phone number is not directly listed in a lot of the petitioner's exhibits. And I would like to note that the contact information differs from exhibit to exhibit from the petitioner. One of these instances is a conversation the petitioner alleges is between her and I regarding $110. I've never stolen from anyone, so I don't know who the petitioner was messaging about this, or what this exhibit was from or for. Again, I do notice a lot of the exhibits, the contact name changes frequently, my number's not directly listed, anything like that. The petitioner's claim that I attempted to log into various accounts of hers is false. I have never attempted to sign into any of the petitioner's accounts. In the screenshots uploaded by the petitioner picturing an email with the subject new Snapchat login, it states that somewhere near Gresham, Oregon, there was an attempt to sign into the petitioner's Snapchat from an iPhone 13 Pro. I have never owned an iPhone 13 Pro, and I have never attempted to log into the petitioner's Snapchat at the time of login. I had never even been to Gresham, which is over 50 minutes from my residence. The other sign-in attempt that the petitioner claims was me took place in Turner, Oregon. It is also not a device that I own. Additionally, in my exhibit E is a screenshot of an email with the subject called drive-by. You will see the petitioner admits to driving through the area, Turner, while she does not even live in the state of Oregon. She lives over 150 miles away. As far as the emails from Target, there is no indication anywhere in the petitioner's exhibits that I was connected to any of her Target account activity. Again, I have no idea what she's referring to. There's nothing in there showing me. I didn't even know she had a Target account. I will now be referencing my own exhibits. The petitioners claim that I ripped up her clothes and left them in the trailer. Under Exhibit A, you will see a screenshot of a text message from the petitioner. She states I did not have possession of the trailer on the exact date she claims I left the clothes in the trailer. This proves the petitioner is not being truthful in her exhibits or her claim. Exhibit B. It'll show 3 photos in response to the petitioner's claim that I showed up at her parents' house. The first photo shows me my personally owned AirPods at this location. After calling local law enforcement, I was instructed to notify the petitioner that I was coming to retrieve my items and to call the local police in her area for an escort. Under Exhibit B, you'll also see the record of my conversation with Tumwater Police. This also shows my claim of history of domestic violence towards myself from the petitioner and her family. This is why I was inquiring about an escort. This escort was made at 6:46 p.m. on 5/16/2023. The petitioner also showed an exhibit of text messages from her mother regarding my visit to the house to encourage her to file a police report against me. But I had legal, justifiable reasoning for being there that was backed by local law enforcement. The petitioner also claimed I showed up elsewhere, including Flying M Stables. I do not know where this is, and I have never been there. Overall, the petitioner claims that I've shown up to places she is at on multiple occasions, where this is not true. I don't even know half of these places listed. Also shown is a photo of her picking up the trailer from being serviced on 5/11/2023. Not only did I not have access to this trailer when she claims I did, as proved in my earlier exhibits, but this photo of the truck and trailer was sent to me by the petitioner, and she then drove it to an unknown location. The petitioner claims I was stalking her for knowing the license plate of the vehicle in the photo. This was a co-owned vehicle. She sent me a photo of it, so I had justifiable reason to know the plate number when I did show up to get my belongings from her house. The police officers did ask me, 1, is there any weapons? And 2, do you know anything about where she could be, or pretty much any identifiable information? So that's hence why I told them about her carrying a a gun as she has brandished it at me before. So for the safety of the law enforcement as they were helping me get my stuff, I did tell them, and I was very honest and upfront with them about that. The petitioner claims I coincidentally showed up at the 4th of July rodeo in Malala that she was at. I was already there when she arrived, and I left when I found out she was there. My friend and I purchased tickets to this event months in advance. Malala is 30 minutes away from my house. The petitioner lives in Washington, and this is an event that is in Oregon. I did not anticipate her being there. This is another instance where the petitioner claims I am showing up places when in fact she is appearing at places I am justified to be. I had no idea someone out of state was going to come to an in-state event near me. Exhibit C shows calls and texts from the petitioner to myself after I left the rodeo when I found out she was there, trying to get me to return to the event. This shows the petitioner is not fearful of me and is willingly putting herself in situations where I am and trying to get me to come back. The petitioner shows multiple exhibits of Snapchat conversations allegedly with me. The Bitmojis, I'm not sure how aware you are of Snapchat, but it's the little picture of the person that you're having communication with. The Bitmojis are different for each conversation that she is stating happened. Exhibit D shows a screenshot of my Snapchat on someone else's page. My profile is listed as quote unquote wife. This shows a Bitmoji differing from the messages the petitioner alleged are between her and I, where she claims I threatened suicide. The next image is Exhibit D. It's an email from the petitioner admitting to her, quote unquote, bugging me all the time and that she, quote unquote, can't do this anymore, and admitted to drinking too much. This shows the petitioner is the one contacting me, threatening suicide, and admits to her alcoholic behaviors. Exhibit E shows multiple occasions ranging from 2023 to 2024 in which the petitioner contacted me via call, text, and email repeatedly, despite me having expressed to her that I wanted to keep our communication strictly to legal proceedings. Further, the petitioner acknowledged in an email to me on 9/11/2023 that she was reaching out knowing I had wanted no contact. The petitioner has falsely claimed that I have intentionally showed up somewhere. I knew she would be. She, however, had admitted to showing up to my house on one of multiple occasions. As shown in Exhibit E, you'll see a screenshot that states drive-by. My house is over 150 miles from where she lives. This goes to show that she's going out of her way to harass me, despite my best efforts to minimize contact. Exhibit E also shows that I strictly keep our conversations to the things the court has instructed me to work out with her. But the petitioner continuously reaches out and begins other conversations. The petitioner consistently initiates communication with me, which does not support her claim that she is fearful of me and fearful of speaking to me when she's starting these conversations. On 10/5/2024, the petitioner chose to come to an exchange of sale of a motorcycle, despite not being one of the parties on the payment agreement. She had no relation to this, and she showed up. She did not need to be there, yet she chose to go, which does not align with her claims of being fearful of me and wanting minimal contact. This recent evidence shows the petitioner is not fearful of being in the same place as me. Furthermore, she was very rude to me and my girlfriend when we were there, and even made fun of my girlfriend for planning to stay in the dental field long term. It was during that exchange that she originally stated that her dental assisting license has expired, which is why I brought it up with her via text. There's also a statement from my girlfriend that really can just go to show her point of view during that time. She is also here via Zoom if you would like to speak with her, or if you have any questions for her. Exhibit F will show why I believe the petitioner is submitting this out of retaliation against me. First, this exhibit shows our mediated agreement from small claims court, which the petitioner has continually been angry about. She also threatens to not make payments on the agreement unless I do something for her. For example, The petitioner texted me asking me to remove my Apple Watch from my iCloud so she can sell it. I told her she did not have my permission to sell my Apple Watch, to which she responded she would not pay me my court-ordered amount unless I removed it from my iCloud. The next day, I was notified that someone logged into my iCloud, which she previously had access to. I assume this was her in an attempt to remove my Apple Watch so she could sell it. I still have not received back my Apple Watch or AirPods referenced in one of my first few exhibits. This protection order was filed just days after I told her she did not have my permission to sell the Apple Watch. Your Honor, I sit here at the mercy of this court. This protection order has the potential to ruin my current and future employment, as well as affect my life greatly. I do not take this lightly, and for my own sake, no matter what the outcome is here, I will no longer be contacting the petitioner in regards to anything, including court-ordered mediation. I will be contacting her through the courts. Any court-ordered mediation payment will go through them. I believe the petitioner filed this out of retaliation against me. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that recent behaviors, as well as past behaviors, tell the courts all they need to know. The petitioner has reached out to me many times and has gone as far as thanking me for reaching out regarding mediated agreements just last month, November 2024. The petitioner has shown up to places where I am, where she has no business being, and has been straight up dishonest with the court. The petitioner is telling a story and trying to paint me in a bad light. Your Honor, from my own fear of her and her abuse, I would not show up anywhere I knew she would be if I didn't have to, as she has done. The petitioner's claims are largely from 2023, and recent behaviors and patterns of contact indicate normal communication about small claims. She is not afraid of me, and she knows I have done nothing wrong and is filing this out of retaliation. The petitioner reaches out to me consistently, violates our court-mandated agreements, and has willingly gone out of her way to insert herself into and physically appear at situations in my life that do not involve her. I have shown that the petitioner is being dishonest with the court, and I am not harassing or stalking her. I hope you are able to make a decision today that takes the truth into account. That is all. Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
All right, and I have Ms. Saunders' statement here, the written statement that was filed by her. Is there any additional testimony besides what's already in the declaration?
I would say that would be up to her if she has anything she feels she needs to say. I would like to be impartial to it, whatever she feels is necessary.
I believe my declaration covers everything that I have to say. Just to reiterate that I had the respondent's location and that she has not been to Washington recently other than the incident on 10/5 and for my grandmother's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's contained in the declaration.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Okay. You both have submitted a fairly extensive amount of information for the court to consider here in this case. And it's also pretty well organized and descriptive. So I appreciate that you both took the time to do that, to present your side of the case clearly like that. So in applying the law here, in this situation, I have to keep in mind that I have to be able to find by a preponderance of the evidence that there's been acts of domestic violence, or if this was to be characterized as a anti-harassment petition, slightly same standard of proof, but a slightly different set of things that would have to be proved. And I think that this is really properly characterized as a domestic violence petition based on the nature, the fact of the relationship previously between the parties. And analyzing it in that light, Ms. Madrid, I understand the context of the points that you brought up in your statement and in your written material regarding what Ms. Jackson has done. However, in listening to Ms. Jackson, I also appreciate that her explanation for events kind of cast a little bit different light on it. It makes sense to me what Ms. Jackson has said about how her actions have been offered versus how they've been interpreted, I suppose would be a good way to put it. I don't think that a reasonable person in your position, Ms. Madrid, would believe in light of all of this, that there have been acts of domestic violence committed against them. I'm particularly thinking in terms of stalking. I think that was the term that you used in your initial petition. So here, based on that preponderance of the evidence standard, I can't find by the greater weight of the evidence that Ms. Jackson has stalked Ms. Madrid or that she's committed any acts of domestic violence against her. And accepting Ms. Jackson's explanation for events and I suppose also her characterization of them, I'm not issuing a domestic violence protection order or any other order. All right, the temporary order that was previously issued at the time of the petition is terminated.
This job, as I am a public employee, I wanted to verify that this temporary order would not show on my background check, or if there's something that I need to do to ensure that it does show nothing was found in this.
The findings of the court are in this written order that I'm preparing. This is the final order in the case, the temporary order. It's the question that you've asked, I can't exactly answer, because if anyone is to inquire about the court proceedings here, they would have access to the entirety of the court file from the time this case was filed, everything that was filed by both parties, recordings of the hearings, the documents that were produced by the court, everything. Now, how that party would interpret them or how that party would, apply any of their own rules to you, for example, that's entirely up to them. The proceedings are not sealed. They're not expunged. There's no erasing of the court record. It's all just in the record. It's there for anyone who wants to examine it. And what their purposes are, the court isn't really in a position to be able to control.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next will be Mr. McConkey versus David Hines. Now, Mr. McConkey, I've got your petition here.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed right away in your petition that you said that Mr. Hines is a squatter on your property. And that raises some concerns with me about the
No, he's cutting wood on my property, sir.
What's that?
He's cutting wood on my property.
Yeah, understood.
But
But I need to establish, first of all, what his relationship is. Is he living on the property?
pardon?
Let's get Mr. McConkey a hearing assist device. I'm concerned because in your petition, you said that Mr. Hines lives on that property over there on
No, I did
Road.
not.
So he doesn't?
No,
Okay.
never.
But when you say a squatter, what do you mean by that?
They're all over Olympia and they're all over Tumwater, and they get on the neighbor's property. They've got trailers, they've got mobile home, and on mine and everything. And I'd rather not even talk about it. I mean, but I never rented to him. I never leased to him. I never had nothing to do with him.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask him about it too. I'm going to ask him the same question. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Hines, do you want to explain to me your relationship to Mr. McConkey's property?
My girlfriend was moved in and was to be his caretaker. I've known Mr. McConkey for about 1.5 years. He's known me. He lives in the front yard of the house I'm staying at. I'm not in a trailer. I'm not in a tent. I live in a house, and his trailer is directly in front of my house. He filed for eviction. I believe the day before he filed for this protection order. So I know Mr. McConkey, and he knows me just the same.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna let him go first and then I'll hear from you, Mr. Hines, and I'll make a decision. So can I have you both raise your right hands, please? All right, and do you each swear the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
I
truth?
do.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. McConkey, go ahead.
He started cutting wood on the property there, and I never leased to him. I never rented. There was 2 women living in that house, and for 8 years, Linda lived in there, next to it. But they got in the house now. He was not there at that time at all, but he started visiting or something in there. But then he was in jail for a long time because the kid went to the one, she got her boy in court, through court, with a forged lease that I never signed, that with them. But he was hanging around there, but those 2 women were in there. But that had nothing to do with he came around. And when he did tell me, he lived over in McCleary, Washington, with his divorcing wife over there. And I know they told me that. But
So what has Mr. Hines done to you that is harassment, that you think is harassment?
he is cutting wood. He's in and out, drives his car out in the back. He's cut over an acre of my wood, plus he's cut wood on the neighbor's property a little bit. And I think they stopped him, and they don't live on that. But then he came over and he's cleared over an acre of mine. And officer, I phoned up the police and they came and he hid in the bushes or something there. And they said there wasn't anything they could do about it. But Officer Stopper told me to come and get this order off, and he knows the situation very well.
Okay.
And he said to call each time he cuts to put it on the record. And I sit there, but he drives right beside my driveway, going out in the back and cutting wood. You can hear him cutting back there with the chainsaw. He had a helper sometime. And then a couple hours later, he comes out, goes out down the street with a big load of cut and split wood. And he cuts every tree down, cedar, fir, everything. And it's well over an acre of our property we've owned since 1950.
Okay, I understand what you're telling me. All right, so you're saying that he's going onto your property unauthorized, but he's using a chainsaw to cut down trees?
Yes, sir.
He's cutting up the wood and hauling it away?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you haven't given him permission to do
No,
that?
sir.
All right, that's your property over on Trosper
Across the
Road?
road, yes, sir.
All right, is there anything I'm missing, or is that the sum of it?
No, that's fairly what it is, sir. I never rented to him. And he came later after I think those women got it into the house of Linda's house. And I don't want to bring that up.
Different issue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, well, let me see what Mr. Hines has to say about this and we'll make a decision. Mr. Hines?
Yes, Your Honor. I have lived here on property for, like I said, a good year and a half. I have cut down no trees on Mr. McConkey's property. I am aware that trees have been cut down, but when the police came and talked to me, I've talked to the police in person, and they have also given me a phone call. Officer Smith had just contacted me sometime last week, and we had a decent discussion. I have cut down no trees on Skip's property. I do go and collect firewood from places that I'm allowed to be on, and I cut them so they're short enough to fit in the truck of mine, and I bring it back to the property so I can burn. We have the wood stove to provide heat, and that's all we have here at the house. Like I said, I've cut down no trees. Mr. McConkey sees me with the chainsaw, but it is not his wood. I have cut down no trees, and none of the firewood I have burned came from this property. And I said the same thing to the police officers that called and the ones in person.
So, Mr. Hines, where do you live?
I live on his property on Trustford. I've lived here for a year and a half with my girlfriend.
On his property.
Yes. We actually, there's proof that I was here. There was a police report that when Skip broke into our house, I called the police, and there was the police department came out, and that's all on file. So, I mean, I've been here a year and a half. And even the court papers or the police reports that were given on that time, my girlfriend was on a lease here, and that I was staying here with her and have been since she moved in.
All right. Well, Mr. McConkey just got done telling me that you don't live there on his property.
There's police records of me calling the police when he broke into our house. Her son's birthday of August of last year. And my name is on the police report. I was the one that called the police. There's everybody here that lives here on the property would say that I've been here. I moved in the same time she did, and she does have a lease. And he was aware of me when she first moved in because I was here helping her move in.
All right, I want to go back to you a minute, Mr. McConkey.
Yes, sir.
So he's telling me that he lives on that property with his girlfriend. Can you explain your point of view on that?
Sir, if you're getting into another issue, when he's saying he called the police, his girlfriend through Linda lived on there 8 years. She was in the hospital. She was coming home on Tuesday. This was on Thursday. I was over putting her new oxygen machine that they brought. I opened the door. She had no lease on that property. But Linda did, and Community Action Council paid me 5 months rent in advance for Linda on that property. I held it. There was no reason that I would change over and put them into my house willingly or sign a lease. I signed no lease. They had none. They told the police they had a lease on that. Now I'm bringing up a whole bunch here that's and if they have a lease, they told the police that the police have to see it. And he says, do you have the lease to her? She said, yes, I do. And he said, well, let me see it. Well, Skip stole the lease and all my jewelry out of the house. She was there applying to be a caregiver for Linda, along with 2 other women. And Herman was taking the applications, not me. And she would never be a caregiver for me. I wouldn't have her if you'd seen her, where she was owed $2,200 out at the motel there. I found out afterwards that they finally got her out of there with the other 2 women that moved in on me. And they told the police, put her in that house and let her go in and took me to jail and put me in the insane asylum at St. Peter's for a week and a half. And all that happened to me. And I'm a 93-year-old veteran, and this bunch of them are, and he wasn't in there. He said he had a house over and was going to get it from his ex-wife when they sold the property that her family owned that.
McCleary.
In McCleary, yes, sir. And there's more to it than that. I kind of helped them and everything, or the 2 women, but they got into the house, and it's been, you ought to see that house today. And when Linda was over there, it was perfect. And she paid the rent, and Linda and Herman and I were all very happy there. But when the police said, let me see that lease, she said they stole it. Okay, if I stole that lease, then when she got her, the boy came from California for the visit that her father, or the father of it, brought him up for the week visit. She went to Herman, and they came to the judge here, and the judge said, yes, I'm going to give you the son, and I'm going to give you child support. So Herman, she came into the court here, and the judge says, well, I'll give you the son. Do you have a place to live? She said, yes, I have a lease, Your Honor, a 2-bedroom house. And that was right after she got in there, a week or 2 later. And she went out and came back and showed the judge a lease that's forged. there was no lease in the first one. If I'd stolen the lease, the day the police asked me, would I give her another lease to come up here? And would I go, the city cut $4,000 worth of water off on me. So she didn't have any water. So she got a free attorney, came up before Judge Zinn and told Judge Zinn that I cut the water off, and Judge Zinn gave her $100 a day. I owe her $6,000 for having the water cut off. And they went over, and now it's automatically turned back on according to the city of Tumwater. And now I owe on it. I owe on all those other people on their electric. The Puget Power came and looked in the wires. They've got wires hooked up. Those are squatters. I've had enough of it. My family's been there good. I put scholarships into Evergreen College. I donated the land for Trosper Road East, all of it. I grew up in the Tumwater Valley. We donated the damn golf course to the citizens, and I'm trying to put that property. I told them take it for their new community center. It's 15 acres. And I have a property for a beautiful community center, a golf course, and everything. How much can a man do?
At this point, I have to say, the court can't resolve this dispute. The court doesn't have jurisdiction to resolve this dispute. Mr. Hines is raising the issue that he lives there. I can't make. I don't have the jurisdiction to make the decision as to whether he has the right to be there. If, as you say, he's a squatter, then that determination has to be made.
Well, I didn't say he's a. If I did, they're all squatters, Your Honor. There's two women in there. They've never paid me a penny rent.
They may be squatters, but you're in the wrong court. Okay, you have to go across the sidewalk to the Superior Court and if you believe they're squatters.
Thousands of dollars. I know all about it.
Well, if you know, you know. I can't.
Where do I get the thousand? I get $260 a month since 1960 with my military pension.
Well, Mr. McConkey, I'm sorry, but the law does not allow me to issue an order that would remove him from that property. I can't do it.
No.
You can, if you'd like to.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke. He needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're going to start bringing people in person. People going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no patience for that. And trust me, at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.